What's up, fancy hairdressers? We're back with another step-by-step. This one probably the most requested look for 2020 and 2021 if you're looking for something a little bit more alternative. This is the shag mullet. We're going to use a razor to cut this today, and my former protege and now teammate and fellow educator Chealse Morgan Ramsell is going to take you through it with her feather plie. This is a folding razor with no guard. So if you are starting off with this, you are able to add a guard to it. We would usually suggest practicing with the guard first. This is a really progressive and sort of more alternative looking haircut, but it's a pretty simple haircut to accomplish. We're essentially cutting our fringe first, starting with this small triangle shaped section right here in the center, with the center part behind that. We have it separated left and right, and we're going to cut a short to long line from the center out, starting off with kind of a medium movement of the blade, a medium stroke of the blade. We still want to have some texture here, but we want some definition as well. We're starting off with these kind of small sections because every little detail of this haircut can be tailored to be just a little bit different for every client that comes in. So using these small sections, a small amount of elevation, and a controlled movement of the blade, we're setting in this first guide. Everything else about this cut is based off of this point. This is your design line for the cut. So you're using it as a guide for the rest, and it will determine your length of your internal layers. So if you leave this a lot longer, your layers will stay a lot longer. You take it shorter, your layers are definitely gonna get a bit shorter. We're gonna be working sort of horizontal diagonal back sections here through the top panel. You could segment this out if you want with pre-sectioning and make kind of a horseshoe, or you could work progressively through as you'll see Chealse do here. Connecting everything short to long from the fringe, increasing the length of your stroke of the razor with every section that you do. She's going to basically repeat that on both sides, and then we'll come back and talk about what happens with the underneath when she gets there. All right, so Chelsea's finished the top left side of that panel, and now you can see she is working on the internal panel, just taking some vertical diagonal sections back now and using the corner of that fringe as a starting point for this. So when you're working with the razor, you need to work in front of your fingers rather than inside of them, or sorry, behind your fingers rather than in front of them. So you need to slide just past your guide just a little bit. Now you're using a really long movement of the blade, a long stroke of the blade, super light touch to create these little accent pieces here on the side. You're not going to go back too far with these sections. You do want to see a bit of disconnection from the front to the back, but you can change that depending on how much weight you want to preserve and length you want to preserve and how much shortness you want to see in front of the face. For Chelsea, I believe she's going to go back just a couple of sections here and going back and doing a little bit of tipping through to remove weight and just detail that texture and that movement in. If you see anything that's too heavy, you can always come back and tip through. You saw her do that a bit through the top as well. And she's doing some finger styling. You'll notice her doing that throughout this step-by-step. A little bit of finger styling as she goes a long way to help her sort of envision what the end result should be. So taking a few diagonal back sections here on the side, and then we're going to repeat this exact same process on the opposite side through the top right panel, and then again with vertical diagonal sections through the bottom right panel. And then we'll come back and take a look at her end result. Just want to do a little review now that she's going on to her second panel on the top. We are taking these diagonal sections. You can see it's essentially the same as the fringe section. It's a mirror image of that sort of triangle section you take for the fringe. And she's opening the movement of the razor up a bit using a longer stroke of the blade to get more and more softness, still using that fringe as a guide. She's going to continue this all the way through to the back crown, where you'll notice her stop. Again, that's because we want to have some disconnection through the back and the underneath, giving us that nice mullety, like tail disconnection feel, you know? And then again, we'll repeat the same process that we did on the first side, where she comes back with vertical diagonal sections on the internal side panel, connecting them to the fringe, giving those little perfect little short pieces that will frame the cheekbone, frame the jawline, and all of that. Again, you can do as little or as much of those pieces as you want. You could even just do this top panel. And feel free to tip through like she is here, just to give that extra softness and extra bit of detailing as you go if you feel like something is too heavy. And then we'll come back and take a look at the end result as soon as Chealse is finished. All right, you can see the end result sort of air drying here. Again, she's doing a bit of finger styling just to kind of work it in and see if she enjoys the shape. And what we decided to do was actually enhance this look a bit with some color from the Copper Gold series from Goldwell Top Chic. We've got this stunning level 7 sort of rose gold copper finish. Chelsea did that color after this cut air dried. Did a little bit of more detailing and finger styling, and this is the end result that we got. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and it's super simple. Really, essentially, it's 2 steps. You cut the fringe, and you draw everything to the fringe. Then you have the option of going deeper through the sides to cut out these little soft face framing pieces. Remember, that disconnect in the back is really, really fun, but it's essential for that mullety look. If you don't like it mullety, you could always cut the back off and give yourself a kind of short, round, shaggy shape. So I hope you guys enjoyed this step-by-step by fancy hairdresser Chelsea Morgan Ramsel. You can follow her at Chelsea Morgan, spelled ChealseMorgan on Instagram. We'll see you guys again.